The methods I will be using this time on question number 1 that has a mixed number of 3 and 5/8 plus another mixed number of 1 and 3/4 is to change these mixed numbers into improper fractions. And as you can see, I already have them set up. I always start with my denominator. And I take my denominator, multiply it by the whole number, and then I add the numerator on top. So 8 times 3 is 24. 24 plus 5 is going to be 29. And I always need to leave my denominator exactly the same. So this mixed number of 3 and 5/8 becomes 29/8 as an improper fraction because the numerator is greater than the denominator. On this one, I am going to go 4 times 1 is 4, plus 3 is 7. There, that becomes my numerator, and I always keep the denominator the same, which is 4. This time, we are going to use the butterfly method. So we need to draw our butterfly wings. One wing goes down around the denominator from one fraction to the numerator of the other. You then in turn do the same thing on the other side. Gives us our beautiful butterfly wings. We need to draw that body of the butterfly down below. And right here, since it is connecting our 8 and our 4, and you see this cross right here, we are going to, or an X multiplication sign, we are going to go 8 times 4 is 32. And I'm not worried just yet about that addition sign that's in the center of the wings. I'm talking about the cross that the wings make there. This time we are going to cross multiply from our denominator to our numerator. Again, we're not worried about that plus sign just yet. We need to multiply first. Draw my little antenna. 4 times 29. I'm going to break it down by going 4 times 9 first. And I know that is 36. So I'm going to leave the 6 and add the 3 over after I get done multiplying. 4 times 2 is 8, plus the extra 3 is going to be 11. So on my one antenna over here, I'm going to have 116. I need to cross multiply from the other side, the denominator of 8 times 7, and that one's an easy one compared to the last one. I know that one is 56. And I love 7 times 8 because I always go 5, 6, 7, 8 when I remind myself that 7 times 8 is 56. So we have our two numerators up here. We have a common denominator, so we don't need to do anything with that except bring it over to the other side, which would be right here. 32 as our denominator. Now we need to add that 56 and 116 together. I need to start with my ones place for both of them. So that 6 plus 6 is 12. I drop the 2. Ooh, the 2 is disappearing from me as it is. And I bring the 1 to the tens group. So then I have 1 and 1 is 2. Plus 5 is 7. And then I have 1 in the hundreds value place. So 172 over 32. I look at that and I see that it is still an improper fraction because my numerator is greater than my denominator. So that tells me that I need to use this equation because a fraction is an equation. It's a division equation. It's saying 172 divided by 32. So up here, I'm just going to use a little space to put my dividend, which is my denominator. 32 goes into 172. And I always look at my first number which is in the tens group in this case. And I forget about that ones for a second. I'm looking at my 3 into 17. And notice I'm not worried about this one right now, because what I would do is look at my 3 into 1, and I know 3 can't go into 1. So I'm going to look at my 3 into 17, because my 7's the next number over, and the 1 and the 7 make 17. Well, I know 3 times 8 is 24. That's way too big. I know 3 times 6 is 18, which is still too large. So let's try 3 times 5. And I'm going to have to remember that I have a place value here and a place value here that I'm going to work with. So I am going to put my 5 over the 2. So then I'm bringing my 2's back into my equation again. I have 5 times 2 is going to be 10. Carry the 1. And then 3 times 5 is 15, plus 1 more is 16. So I have 160 taken away from my 172, which leaves me with a remainder of 12. Well, I know that is right because 12 is less than my divisor of 32. So I am going to mark my whole number, which is my 5. My numerator is my remainder here. And my denominator always stays the same. It's my divisor as well. So I'm going to rewrite that down below. And I'm going to have 5 and 12 30-seconds. Well, I'm not done yet. I noticed something about my numerator and my denominator. I noticed that they are both even numbers. So I know that 2 can go into 12 and 2 can go into 32. I am going to divide those down. And I know that when I divide by 2, I am going to get 6 as my numerator and 16 as my denominator. Well, 6 over 16, those two numbers are still going to be even numbers and can be divisible by 2 again. And if I divide those by 2, I would get 3 over 8, or 3/8. So I divided by 2 twice there. Instead of dividing by 2 times, I'm going to divide the top number and the bottom number both by 4, because 2 times 2 is 4. And guess what? 4 can go into 12 and 4 can go into 32 as well. So either way I do it, I'm going to come up with the same answer. I need to remember to put down my whole number first, and then 12 divided by 4 is going to be 3 as my numerator, over 32 divided by 4 is going to be 8, which I came up with the exact same answer, whether I took these two numbers divided by 2 and then by 2 again, or take my numerator and my denominator divided by 4. Whatever I do to the top, I have to do to the bottom, and vice versa. So your answer for number 1 is 5 and 3/8.